All right, folks, chapter 23, Clay Gentry. Clay spent the next few hours in his room, wondering what they had planned next for him. He couldn't help but think about what Ainsley said the other day, said on their first day of traveling. I hope you pick door number 2, the one that ends with you dying a slow and painful death. He wondered why they went through the trouble of showing him all the horrors he had seen during the last week and a half if they were going to threaten his life. He did if he didn't cooperate with them. He knew that what he had seen changed him, but he didn't know what they expected him to do. Sure, he could make some profound changes within his company, but would he be able to convince others like him to follow suit? Would they kidnap them and do what they had done to him? After a while, Ainsley entered the room. He closed the door and came over and sat across from Clay. Ainsley looked at the man and took a deep breath and started. I'm afraid the next couple hours aren't going to be very pleasant for you. Clay looked concerned. What's going to happen? He gulped. You will sit down with Amy Bryant and Bob Roth. Clay thought he would prefer it if Ainsley had said that they were going to torture him. Can you tell them that I've changed and I'll cooperate? He said desperately. Did you tell them I saved your life? He added. They know all that, Ainsley said in a serious tone. They want to see you personally. My job was to show you what my world is like. I did that. I don't know what they plan for you next, what they plan next for you. I'm going to take you to them. My part in all of this is finished, Ainsley said in a way that relayed that despite everything that they had seen and done in the past few days, they were not friends. Clay sighed. Let's get it over with. Ainsley walked him down a few corridors to a door. He opened it and signaled for Clay to enter. Clay gave him one last look of desperation, but received no mercy from Ainsley. Clay entered, and Ainsley closed the door. Clay wished he had told him how much he respected and admired him, but he figured that the man probably didn't care to get praise from someone like him. Then he focused on the next challenge. He looked up into the room, took a deep breath, and entered. The room was empty except for a small table accommodating 4 people. Amy and Bob sat on the same side, so Clay would need to sit across from them. Can I start by saying he wanted to express his deep regret for all the pain and trouble he had caused them, but Amy cut him off. No, you cannot start. I will start, she said abruptly. Clay knew this tactic. He had used it many times himself. She was setting the tone for the conversation. She was in control of this room, not him. Okay, he thought, you're in charge. Amy began. Ainsley briefed us on the events from the last week and a half. He said he thinks you've had a change of heart. Clay opened his mouth to talk. Amy raised her hand to indicate that he should stop, then lowered it and said, no, go ahead, talk. Clay retook a breath and began. I'm truly sorry for what I have put you both through, he said, glancing briefly at Bob. I don't have any excuse other than this is the world I am in. He shook his head sadly. I've been wrapped up in this world for so long that I don't even know who I am anymore or what I have become. Amy and Bob exchanged looks. Clay continued. I have a daughter, and a little granddaughter. I truly thought the best thing I could do for them was to amass a fortune. I told myself it was for them, even though my daughter barely speaks to me. She sees what I am, and she despises me. I knew she didn't care about how much money I had. She wanted a father who wasn't a monster. I knew that, but I kept doing it anyway. When he finished, Amy began. We did all of this because we think you can help us. I'm going to propose big changes in the plastic industry. Bob has been promoting these issues on his show, and the American people are in full support. If I had someone like you to stand with me on this, we would have a better chance of success. Clay halfway laughed and shook his head. Think about it, Amy said. Amy continued. If your company was proactive about these changes and was already starting to make them happen before new legislature forced you to, what good publicity would that be for you? She implored. Clay shook his head again. After all this time, you still don't understand what you're dealing with. Okay, I paused here because this is important. Amy tilted her head and looked confused. Clay continued. I do want to help you. Even I don't have that kind of clout. My Cessna really will crash into the Pacific if I do what you propose. No, I'm sorry. I can't do what you're asking. Not even for your daughter and your granddaughter? Amy asked him. I would do anything for them. But you are asking could harm them. He trailed off. He'd said too much. If you didn't have these people helping you, he indicated the secret facility they were sitting in, you would have been erased a long time ago. He was trying to steer the conversation in a different direction. By the way, he added, how is Bob continuing his show? They said he was dead. Amy and Bob exchanged a look and I guess we can tell him. Amy started. Only your local TV station aired that story. The rest told the actual story about him being rescued and his kidnapper being apprehended. But all those people saw them announce that his body was found, he said, sounding confused. How will you explain that? This time it was Bob's turn. Mandela effect, he said plainly. What? Clay asked. They will clearly remember seeing that story air, but there will be no evidence that it ever happened. They do it all the time, Bob explained. Clay just looked stunned. Amy went on. What are you not telling us? Clay shook his head. I don't know. Really, I don't know. All I know is this is bigger than me. Synthetico or Global Water Corp. There is something else at play here, but I don't know what it is. Bob leaned in. Can you find out? This is important. We need to understand what's happening here. How? Clay asked. Can you poke around, ask questions? Bob continued. Tell us everything you know, Amy said. I have, Clay replied. That is everything I know. But okay, I will see what I can find out. But what about my daughter and granddaughter? I know you don't owe me anything, but we can protect them, Amy interrupted. She didn't know if that was true, but she thought it was, and she needed Clay's cooperation. That's probably the only way I can help without putting myself and my family in danger. Others have tried to interfere. You've heard of them. Presidents, members of royal families, celebrities, moguls like myself. They can take them out in the middle of a parade or a car accident or a plane crash. You name it. If they can do that, what do you think they can do to me? Bob and Amy exchanged looks. I will see what I can find out. If I disappear, or worse, tell my daughter I love her, he said, half joking. Can I talk to Mara? He asked. Amy thought about it. She didn't see any harm in it. I'll ask her if she wants to talk to you, Amy replied. Clay was brought back into his room. After some time, he heard a light knock and the door open slightly. Hello? Said a woman's voice. Come in. Clay said in a friendly manner. Mara walked in and was immediately followed by a large man. The man looked like he could be friendly, but was not giving off a pleasant vibe. Mara's pregnancy was now showing. She had the cutest little baby bump and was glowing despite the occasion. "This is my husband, Ben," she said. Clay had pictured talking to Mara alone, but decided not to push it. There are worse things than a man feeling protective over his pregnant wife. "Congratulations," Clay offered. Mara just nodded and half smiled. "I'm not sure why you wanted to see me," she began, sitting in the comfy chair. Ben continued standing. Clay took a breath. "Do you ever talk to your father?" he asked her. She and Ben exchanged looks. "No," she said. "I haven't seen or talked to him since his trial." "Is any of that due to my testimony?" he asked her. "Some of it," she replied. "When I heard people's sworn testimony, recanting all of the terrible things he was responsible for, it made me sick," she said, tearing up. Ben squeezed her hand gently. "Mara," Clay went on, "I lied. I lied under oath, and I let your father go to jail for things that I had done. I made deals with some people, and we let Bill take all the blame. Don't get me wrong, he was no saint, but a lot of what was pinned on him, he didn't do," Clay finished. "Why are you telling me this?" Mara asked. "I've taken a lot from your father," he replied. "I have a daughter and a granddaughter. Although I don't get to see them as often as I'd like, I can't imagine life without them. Your father is sitting in jail because of me. I don't want to take you and your child from him, too." "I'm going to help your friend Amy," he trying to trying to redeem himself a little. "I heard," Mara replied softly. "I want to do something to make my daughter proud of her old man before—" He trailed off. Mara looked at him. She looked into his eyes. He was being sincere. "Thank you," she said, standing up and extending her hand to him. "Promise me you will think about what I said," he added. She smiled warmly. "I will." Clay returned to his California office. Everyone thought he had been in Fiji for the past 2 weeks, and he let them believe it. Later that day, Kevin came into Clay's office and timidly asked him how his trip went. Kevin was the only one who knew Clay's original agenda when he left. "I couldn't get to her. She has bodyguards," he lied. "So you didn't, he asked, not wanting to say the words out loud. "No, Kevin, I didn't," Clay said, annoyed. I'm going to see what my dogs are barking at. I'll be back with chapter 24, The Proposal.